Welcome to the We've Seen a Thing or Two podcast. As investigators and mediators focused on regulatory and workplace conflicts, we have seen a thing or two and learned a thing or two. In each episode, we will be speaking with industry leaders in regulation, human resources and law, as well as thought leaders and top performers in investigations and mediation. We bring our audience interesting and cutting-edge information on conflict management as it relates to professional regulation and workplace disputes. This industry is one of many views, and we have to say that some views shared by our guests are not necessarily shared by the We've Seen a Thing or Two podcast, its host, or sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by Benard Associates, trusted investigation and mediation professionals since 2004. Now here's your host, Dean Benard.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the We've Seen a Thing or Two podcast. Since this is the first episode, I thought I would focus on explaining what this podcast is all about and what you as listeners can expect. Now, to do this, I have with me the most special guest I will ever have on the show, Brenda Benard, my partner in everything I do. Brenda is the Vice President of Benard Associates, and she manages everything there is to manage, from operations to quality review. More importantly, as my very significant other, she keeps me grounded and on track so I can do the best for our clients, staff, and our family. Brenda is a big reason this podcast was developed, and she will appear on future episodes either hosting or as a guest. Welcome to the show, Brenda.
Wow, thanks, Dean. With that introduction, I'm going to have a hard time living up to people's expectations, even though it's all true. Hi, everyone. This is an exciting moment, as we've been planning this podcast for over a year. And we're so happy to be doing something that gives back to our clients and the communities that they serve. We spend so much time doing the work that we do, and we realize that our work has led to many lessons. We've been the recipients of considerable knowledge and the beneficiaries of knowing so many accomplished experts. It struck us that we should find a way to share this knowledge with others, and in that way contribute to the fields of investigation and alternative dispute resolution.
You know, it really has been a privilege to be trusted to manage such complex and important work for our clients. Giving back to them and others is our goal, and with each episode of this podcast, we intend to do just that. Okay, so what is this podcast about? Here's the elevator pitch on why you need to tune in.
Hold on, wait for it, folks. Dean's elevator pitches usually go to about the 300th floor.
Okay, so I could be a little wordy at times. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. I told you she keeps me on track. The We've Seen a Thing or Two podcast is all about sharing knowledge and preventing and resolving conflict. Conflict is not going away in our society, and sadly, it's even proliferating in some circles. Our company has been involved with investigation and mediation of regulatory and workplace disputes for over 16 years. During that time, we've seen a lot. I don't say we've seen it all, because frankly, there are still many things we apparently have not seen. Mm-hmm. How do I know that? Well, very frequently you can hear me or others on our team say, "Really? No way. I thought I've seen it all." The reality is we see things weekly that make us shake our heads in disbelief. So we know we haven't seen it all, but we have seen a lot. And it's from this reality that we came up with the name We've Seen a Thing or Two for the podcast title. Now, some of you might say regulation and workplace, how are they related? Well, in our view, they're very much overlapping areas. After all, professionals who are regulated and licensed almost all work in an employment setting, or they are the employer. If they are accused of misconduct, incompetence, or some form of incapacity, it is typically happening in a workplace or in relation to a workplace. In some cases, we've conducted investigations for a workplace, and the regulator has asked us to provide them with the report for their use. Our plan with this podcast is to give our listeners access to our experience, but also access to many of the experts we know and work with every day. We'll talk about conflict prevention, investigation best practice, conflict resolution, such as mediation and facilitation, and we will discuss the lessons learned along the way.
Okay, so not bad. That was maybe, 60, 70 floors.
Oh, really? Well, okay, thank you. I guess I'll take that as a compliment.
Well, we've got a great lineup of guests scheduled for upcoming episodes. By the way, episodes will be scheduled to drop about every 3 weeks or so, and typically be between 15 and 20 minutes long. We want to keep episodes short so people can listen during those moments when they have a few minutes they want to use. We like to call that net time. What's net time? Well, for us, it means no extra time. We're all so busy with our work, with our families, and other responsibilities that it's easy for us to say, "I have no extra time." But we believe we can use that time during commuting, maybe walking your dog, or even when you're soaking in the tub to get some useful information without sacrificing the other responsibilities you give your time to. So we call this net time. So what are some of the topics our guests will cover, Dean?
Well, we have a great lineup. We're going to cover topics like dealing with gender and other issues of discrimination in the workplace, managing mental health issues in a regulatory context, emotional intelligence in the workplace, the public inquiry into long-term care homes in Ontario, trauma-informed investigation, relationships in workplaces and some of the lessons learned by employers and employees, and managing our internal bias, and many other interesting topics that will be discussed by us and our guests. Our guests are experts and thought leaders in law, human resources, regulation, mental health, mediation, mindfulness, business strategy, and the list just goes on and on.
We've got a lot of interviews lined up that will take place over the coming weeks and months, and we just can't wait to bring them all to you. We'll be sharing resources during our episodes, and we will post links to useful information on our benardinc.com blog.
Now, if you haven't already figured it out, we are investigators, mediators, and conflict resolvers. We're not professional broadcasters. We are venturing into new territory here and hope it gets a little better with each episode we do. Now, we're committed to making this work and ask that you bear with us as we learn and grow in this unfamiliar territory.
Of course, we're really interested in your feedback and suggestions for topics and speakers, so please contact us and share your thoughts. We can be reached many ways, including through the Contact Us page on our website, which is benardinc.com, LinkedIn. You can call us at 888-733-2226, or if you're listening on the YouTube channel, just make your comments on our YouTube channel.
Well, that's a wrap for this inaugural episode of We've Seen a Thing or Two. This one was really short and really just meant to be an introduction. We do appreciate your time, we know it's valuable, and we want to contribute in a meaningful way. We will work hard to provide you with value. So with that, thanks folks. Until the next time, you stay classy, Canada.
Oh, really?
I had to do the Anchorman thing. My apologies to Will Ferrell. I promise that won't happen again. Bye-bye, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Bye.